Hi, everyone. So, I've heard through the grapevine that some people enjoy me going through these lists, and I found this one, the 25 top selling rock albums of all time. So, what I thought I would do is check out the albums, and I'll just let you know if I've ever owned them or even heard them. And I have not looked at the list yet, but I'm guessing that the Beatles are on this list. Here we go. So Simon and Garfunkel's greatest hits sold 14 million certified units. Not just 14 million, but 14 million. And I think I did have that on vinyl at one point, but I'm more of a fan of their, studio albums like Bridge Over Troubled Water. They're one of the greats. So I don't think that was Paul Simon's greatest hairstyle. And the one thing I did not like about this album is I think one of the tracks was live and it was really disappointing. I'm not sure which one it was. Because like I said, I had this album in the early 70s. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Meatloaf, but I did own this album on vinyl back in the day, and I enjoyed it at the time. Not so much these days, but it sold 14 million copies. Tapestry by Carole King. I've never owned that. I've heard it. My brother used to own that back in the early 70s, so I heard most of the album then. And then I also recently, on my Patreon, did a full album reaction to it. And I think I gave it probably a solid A. It was excellent, of course. Carole King, one of the greats. Yeah, the Beatles, 15 million for 1962 to 1966. The original vinyl, I did own that back in, when was that? 70, I think 77 did it come out? So long ago, I don't remember. And of course, I've got the new remixed versions, which I love. And that sold 15 million. Steve Miller Band, greatest hits, 15 million. I never owned this particular album, but I had, I think, a couple of, no, just the one, The Joker, is the only studio album of his that I ever owned. But some catchy songs. Yeah, I think almost everybody has this in their record collection if they're a rock music fan. I love The Dark Side of the Moon. I think it's one of the greatest albums ever. And it sold 15 million copies. Was not a fan of Journey. I actually did have one of their early albums before Steve Perry joined. It was called Next. And it was kind of like jazz rock. It was pretty good. But then they went kind of, more commercial and pop rock. Just never got into them. But if you enjoy Journey, that's great. Metallica, 1991, 16 million. I did buy that when it came out on vinyl. I liked it, but, it just didn't hold my interest enough to keep it. Yes, one of my all-time favorite albums. And besides the Beatles' White Album, probably my favorite double album. 16 million copies. That's my favorite Led Zeppelin album. Jagged Little Pill from the Canadian Alanis Morissette. I bought that on vinyl when it came out. I think, I used to disc jockey in the 70s and 80s, early 90s. So I think I bought, not that I ever played it at a dance, I don't think, but that was my excuse for buying it. It was good. I didn't mind it. There's the other one, which we've already talked about. So that sold more than the Red album. Interesting. Yep, I had that on vinyl. I also had a lot of his early studio albums on vinyl back in the day. 17 million units. I had that when it came out on vinyl. I don't own it anymore. I got kind of tired of it pretty quickly. My favorite Bruce Springsteen album is Tunnel of Love. And that sold 17 million. Yeah, Boston, 1976, 17 million copies. I bought that when it came out. Great album. I don't have it on CD though. But one of the great debut albums for sure. I did buy Use Your Illusion Parts 1 and 2, which I kind of liked, but I never did own Appetite for Destruction. 18 million. Yeah, once another album I think most people have, although I actually don't have it in my CD collection right now, but I'd like to. But I certainly had it on vinyl back in the day. My favorite, though, is Tusk. But Rumors is, one of the great albums. 20 million. Nope. Never got into Hootie and the Blowfish. I have Pink Floyd's The Wall, 23 million. Not one of my favorites. I like it. It's very good, but I don't play it that often. Now, I used to buy Billy Joel studio albums back in the day, up to, I think, From the Stranger to The Bridge. And then I just kind of gave up on them. So I really didn't have any reason to buy the greatest hits because back then I had most of the songs on his studio albums. And that sold 23 million. Yes, my favorite, well, probably my second favorite album of all time after Abbey Road. 24 million. Yeah, most people have Led Zeppelin 4. I had it on vinyl back in the day, and I've got it on CD. I have AC/DC Back in Black. I didn't buy it when it first came out, though. It took me a few years. But I had been into AC/DC earlier, and Let There Be Rock. I was trying to think of the album title. That was the first album of theirs I bought and loved it. It's still my favorite AC/DC album. Hotel California, I don't own that. I'm not a big Eagles fan, but I did have it on vinyl back in the mid-70s. Everybody owned Michael Jackson's Thriller, or almost everybody. I've never owned it on CD, but I had it on vinyl. 34 million. Wow. I never had that on vinyl or CD. That's it, I guess. So that's number one with 38 million. And that's not even including, because that was before Hotel California. So Hotel California isn't even on that album. So that's pretty impressive. Yeah, so that's it. So let me know which one of these albums, or did you own or did not own? I should have counted. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, so I had 18 of the 25 at some point in my life. Not too shabby. How many did you have? Please remember to like the video and leave a comment below. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.